Instead you can bury the workman, but the work will go on. You can silence the voices, but you can't stop the song.
Welcome to Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged with your host, Brain Fitzpatrick. Wheeling the Pathways of Life Unplugged is a snapshot of the day-to-day experiences of disabled individuals as they navigate the world around us. We wish to shed light and open your eyes on a new perspective of people with disabilities. And by going unplugged, we can discuss viewpoints we hope will challenge our viewers' points of view. Most of us have disabilities we must live with, but what defines us is the way we deal with them. And now, here's your host, Brain Fitzpatrick.
Good afternoon, folks. This is Brain Fitzpatrick, bringing you another episode of Wheeling the Pathways of Life. And again, thanks to Pittsburgh Community Television and thanks to the cooperation of agencies like United Cerebral Palsy of Western Mass for everything they do, and putting up with me is a lot, but they do that well every day. What I want to focus on today is, at least for this segment anyway, is the definition, my argument with the definition of reasonable accommodations within the ADA. Reasonable accommodations is reasonable when it comes to if it's something that can be done, it should be done. But what they consider reasonable in the ADA is not always reasonable for somebody with a disability. Okay? What I mean by that is, if you got a sidewalk, their version of reasonable, and you need to get down to the blacktop or the asphalt, they're reasonable. The reasonable accommodation for that is throw a ramp on the sidewalk. Okay? It's not necessarily, is the chair gonna fit on the sidewalk? Or is the chair gonna fit in a grocery store aisle without knocking anything over? Yes, it will, if the stores don't put anything in the way when they build the aisle wide enough. The aisleways in a store need to be at least 36. It needs to be 36 inches wide. Now, it is not 36 inches wide if you put a display in the middle of the aisle. So I have a big problem with stores putting displays in the middle of the aisle. Now, The other thing I have a problem with is old construction. It doesn't have to meet the requirements of the ADA because it's old construction. Well, I hate to tell you, but we're all getting old and we're all gonna need, well, we're running out of buildings. We're trying to use some of the older buildings that we have in town. So when they say older buildings are not required to be required to comply with the ADA, I think that needs to change as far as how old the building is and what you're gonna, more along the lines of now how old the building is, what you're gonna use the building for. One of the things that is very tricky, and I'm pleased to report in the past few years, places like the museum has complied with the ADA, but not necessarily do they have to. They don't have to comply with the ADA because it's a museum. They can get away with that, but the reason why they do it is just inviting the public into the building. If they want the public in the building, they must comply with the ADA. But again, like I said in previous shows, is churches do not have to comply with the ADA because of the separation of church and state. However, if the churches invite the public in for more than just Sunday service, they do have to comply with the ADA. ADA was was developed in the 90s under President Reagan, I believe, and there's a lot of situations that I think should be modified about the ADA, but we are making progress with what's being done. Like in my case, a lot of the doorways that I have to deal with have a button on them. Well, as you may or may not be able to see, my hands don't work as well as some people's hands do. So it's harder and harder for me to push a button on a door to open it. So the ideal doorways for me to open are the ones at the grocery store where I just run over the strip on the ground and the door opens up. Now, if you're driving by on the sidewalk and you're driving by the store with those kind of doorways, the door tends to open even though the person's not going in there. It's just the motion of walking by the establishment that the door opens. So that's why a lot of times near a grocery store, if it's cold outside, don't stand in the doorway because you'll keep the door open. Or the people inside the store, near the door, can't stand it because it's so cold, because the doors are wide open, because people are walking by constantly. One of the things that I think need to change as far as the ADA requirements is the size of the elevators. If you go into places like, and I'm not, this is my opinion alone, I am not being paid, or I'm not officially making a complaint with the establishment that I'm about to mention, but just to give you an example, like if anybody goes into the Holiday Inn to get a hotel room for the night, their elevators are so small, my chair barely fits in the elevator. Okay? So what I'm asking people to do, and this is only me, this isn't required by the Commission on Disabilities or the city, but I'm recommending that every establishment reach out to people in my situation to consult not only with the ADA, study the Americans with Disabilities Act, but talk to a person in a wheelchair, talk to a person with a disability, and make sure they can access your establishment if they want to. Because I really can't tell you, and I'm gonna be frank with you for a minute. I really do not have any problem with establishments being accessible. And as a matter of fact, I encourage it, and part of the show is to encourage other areas of the city to be more accepting to disabled people. But if you always go by, okay, The ADA only requires this. The Americans with Disabilities Act, for those people that have just tuned in, only requires this to do. Well, when you only are required to do X, somebody inevitably is going to be needing Y to be done. So, if you can afford it and you can put in the extra time, I'd do more than what you're required to do. Because inevitably, somebody's gonna need more than what's required. Okay? Like in my personal situation, now this is only me. My door, into my house is 36 inches wide. Okay? But my repair people jammed a 36-inch door in a 28-inch hole. So the door doesn't necessarily open wide enough for me to get in the building. Okay? But I can do it. It's accessible according to the ADA, but it's not very easy at times to get into the building. What I'm saying to people just in general is people need to pay attention to what makes it easier for people with a disability to function. Not just say, what does the law say we have to do? Okay? If you're gonna get into disabilities and accommodating disabilities, it's gonna cost you a little bit of money. But in the long run, it's gonna make you some money too, because people with a disability can get into your establishment or get into your facilities and patronize or just be a part of the general overall reason for your establishment being there. Now, a lot of people don't consider this. ADA requires stores to be accessible for the handicapped. That includes, okay, if they need help shopping, if somebody asks for somebody to get something, it is more likely than not, it is not only required, I think, from the ADA for the people in the store to go around with you and get what you need. It's a smart thing to do. Because, like I said, everybody, one time or another, everybody's gonna be disabled. even the people I'm talking to now that aren't disabled, the older you get, the more your body tends to not let you do what you want to do. Okay, what I'm saying is the more information you know now, the better off you are. Okay. One of the examples I want to use before I go to break, real quick, and this is going back a ways. Why do you think the ADA doesn't recognize round doorknobs? Kelsey, if you can do me a favor and go inside on one of my hands. Go inside on one of my hands, if you can. Alright, you can see my hands are so tight and everything. Okay? How would I, being in a chair with tight hands like I have right now, with my hands closed up like they are, how would I be able to get out of a building if I attempted to? Because I cannot use a round doorknob because I can't get around the doorknob. Okay, Kelsey, you can go back in now. And the other reason, imagine, use this example. Imagine if you're walking down a hallway and you get a bunch of smoke in the hallway, but the only way out is down the end of the hall. But when you get down there, the hallway, turn the doorknob, to get out the door, you have to turn the doorknob. Okay? How the heck are you gonna turn a doorknob with hands like mine? Okay. Okay. You can't do that. So, part of the ADA is required to have push panic bars on the doors. So all you gotta do is push the panic bar on the door to let yourself out. Now, this is another thing that I will say until I'm blue in the face. And I'm letting you guys know that I'm gonna push this legally and legally statewide, legally federally too, if I can. All public buildings with second floors all wheelchairs should meet at the stairwell. Why? Because, well, again, I've said this in previous shows, I'll say it again and again and again on other shows too, but in a public building with elevators, you're not supposed to use the elevator in a public building during a fire. 2 reasons. I'll give you a second to see if you know what the two reasons are. Two reasons though. The two reasons are, if the elevator door opens, you could be on the third floor, okay? And the other reason is that if you're, the fire department uses the elevators to run the hose up and downstairs. Or they open the doorways, open the doors to the elevator to feed the hoses through the floor. To feed the hoses up through the elevator on the third floor. That's why they use that. So those are the two reasons why you can't use the elevator. So therefore, I am saying the fire department will go to the floor of the fire by the stairwell. So if there's a person that needs to be evacuated from a building, the smart thing to do would be to meet the fire department at the stairwell to evacuate with the fire department. Not only does it save the people trying to get out of the building, but it saves them physically from trying to figure out a way to get them out of the building. Okay? And it takes the argument away of I'm not doing that because I may hurt myself trying to lift somebody. Now, the fire department is trained to do evacuation with people like me in a building. So that is the easiest way to do it for me. And that's what I recommend other people do. Okay. The other thing I would do, and I'm going to actually do this myself, I contact your fire department or your police and set up a plan where the fire department comes in your house and actually trains with you on how to do an evacuation. So you know what they're doing and they know how to deal with you physically, because every circumstance is different. Every position that the handicapped person could be put into can be shown to the client, shown to the individual, so they're not afraid or know that they will be able to get out of the building if there's something that needs to be done. Now, if somebody's not physically able to and is a amateur at this and tries to do it themselves, that could cause me and other people to panic even more, because somebody is capable of hurting themselves trying to do it. So I'd rather have the fire department do it so that I know I'm safe and I know the higher probability of the fire department going home unscathed and unscathed and uninjured in any way is greater. Scathed meaning nothing goes wrong. It boggles my mind how many people don't understand that. Like I've said in previous shows, people ask me stupid questions like, if you don't want us to evacuate you, you must mean you want to die. And that's not the case. I just don't want to see anybody else hurt trying to get me out of the building. When I know my own body, I know I'm going to be stiff, and I know I'm going to be scared, and that causes more anxiety for me, knowing that somebody who's not been trained to do it is trying to do it. I'd rather take the risk of not getting out of a building than to know that somebody tried to do it that doesn't know what they're doing. Now, that is just if I'm in bed. If I'm in a chair, I have no problem taking the risk and driving out of the building. Okay? But I'm talking about getting me in the chair, getting me up to a point where I can get in the chair and, that's too much of a time constraint with the equipment that I have to be able to do all that without a big potential of getting hurt. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation and I'll tell you what's coming next for future shows at the end. We will be right back, folks. Thank you.
You brought me this far, so why would I question you now? You have provided, so why would I start to doubt? I've never been stranded, abandoned, or left here to fight alone. So I'm giving you control. I lift my life up. Give it all in surrender. I lift my heart up. You can have it forever. All my dreams, all my plans, Lord, I leave it in your hands. I lift my life up. Have your way in me. Have your way in me. If peace is a river, then let it sweep over me. If I'm under fire, I know it's refining me. When I hear you calling out, I'll follow now, wherever the road may go, because I know you're leading me home. I lift my life up. I give it all in surrender. I lift my heart up. You can have it forever. All my dreams, all my plans, Lord, I leave it in your Have your way in me. Have your way in me. Take my life and let it be all for you. Take my life and let it be all for you. I lift my eyes, lift my life up. I give it all in surrender. I lift my heart up. Take my life. I lift my life up. Give it all in surrender. I lift my heart up. You can have it forever. All my dreams, all my plans, Lord, I leave it in your hands. I lift my life up. Have your way in me. Have your way in me. Just have your way in me. Have your way in me. Just take my life and let it be all for you.
Good afternoon, folks. This is Brian Fitzpatrick coming back with some more Wheeling the Pathway to Life with Brian Fitzpatrick. And again, thank you, Nancy Fluffy at Western Mass for your support and your ongoing support of me personally, and making sure I do everything I need to do, and maintaining my staff day after day, and making sure I'm covered, and making sure I can basically get you every week. And what I wanted people to realize is you may not either agree with what I said in the last segment or understand what I've said in the last segment, but the more you watch the show and get into the conversations we have gotten into and will continue to get into, you will understand that each and every week I bring up stuff that I've actually had experience with. Just about 90% of everything I talk about, I've actually had experience with. Now, I may not be physically experiencing everything I talk about, but being in the disabled community, I've seen a lot of my friends and a lot of clients that other agencies deal with have difficulties, and I've had to watch them go through it. And as I get older, I'm beginning to see the elderly population, which I'm getting closer to. Everybody is getting closer to that, are being taken care of, so I have some idea what it's like, and having to rely on other people to do things for you and with you is a wonderful thing that people will do that. But it's a struggle to get what you want done the way you want it, because you're not doing it for yourself. You've got to rely on other people to do it for you. That is why I'm doing this show, to kind of give you a perspective of what people with disabilities go through. And yes, it's a challenge, and yes, it's not easy, and yes, I do get upset. But in the long run, when you go through life and you're running around doing everything that we do on a daily basis, this is if you're not disabled, according to the definition of disabled. If you don't have any physical disabilities or physical ailments, you don't have the opportunity to take the time and meet a bunch of people. You meet only the people you're around and only the people you work with on a daily basis. But I have to deal with a bunch of different people because I have to rely on them to do other things for me. Okay? As you can see with this cup on the side of my chair, I can't even get a drink myself. I can't even basically go to the bathroom myself. I have to rely on other people to do it. And let me tell you something. That can be frustrating, but it can also be educational too. Now, what I'm saying, I'm not a psychologist, nor do I even play one on TV, as some of the commercials say on commercial TV, but I do have first-hand knowledge of how difficult it can be and how rewarding it can be that you're experiencing other people's experiences with a different perspective other than somebody that's able-bodied and looking at a situation and saying, why are you complaining? I'm complaining because it's not fun or it's not easy, but will I change anything? No. Because like I say, just about every week, would I be here right now doing the show as I'm doing it right now at 3:15 in the afternoon on a Thursday if I was in the chair. And I've done the telethons and worked with people like Pittsburgh Community Television for years and getting to become friends with them and working with United Cerebral Palsy with their radio station and working with WTBR for as many years as I have without being in a chair. I don't know where I'd be. And before I get off the air, I'm gonna do it again. And I hope people understand, and I hope people can respect the fact that I am genuinely concerned, as I should be as a Christian, about where everybody's mindset is about what's going to happen in the future. If you don't have anybody to take care of you, okay? If you struggle to have anybody take care of you, okay? And we all struggle to have people take care of us. There's one person that was on this earth and is still alive to help you. And that is Jesus Christ. The only person we can rely on fully. Okay. Now, there are people that are capable, and there are people that we need people to survive on this earth. Okay? And I need people to run the equipment that's running right now for the show. But without the ability of Jesus Christ, we wouldn't even exist. And the people that I've been in contact with, and the situation that I'm in right now has been designed for a reason by Jesus Christ. We may not understand what that reason is. I may be frustrated at times. I may be really frustrated and angry. But every situation I go through, okay, right down to the fact that my thyroid was taken out at, oh my God, it's been 5-6 years now. My thyroid was taken out at a younger age. Well, if I wasn't the way I am and being watched every day of the week and noticed a certain situation happening with my throat, my neck, I don't know if I'd be here right now. Because that could have ended up with me dying prematurely and me missing out on opportunities that I've had missing out on opportunities to come, and missing out on remembering and reminiscing with the people that I work with and continue to work with on a weekly basis. And I wouldn't be around to talk about situations like this to you today. And despite what people say about the hospitals here and stuff like that, if it wasn't for them, I may not be here either. But at the same time, Jesus Christ is the main thing, and I thank Jesus for, and I thank Pittsburgh Community Television, and everybody that I've run across in Pittsfield that have been supportive, that have asked me questions, that even asked me stupid questions like, the situation like, you know, why don't you want to evacuate? Because if you didn't ask me the question, I wouldn't be able to explain it, and you wouldn't know what I know, and I wouldn't get to experience and know who you are by communicating with getting to know people. That's how we learn, and that's how we grow as people and as Christians. We learn to give to each other, not so much what we get, but what we can give and be a part of, and we can better people's lives. That's what we're supposed to do as Christians and as people in general. Now, sometimes we forget about that. We think, oh, we can do this on our own. Well, if we try to do it on our own, things are gonna get messed up every time. But as long as Jesus is in your heart, and I'm not asking you to understand everything Jesus is all about, but just know that without Him, none of us would be here. And every situation we're talking about today wouldn't exist. And even this radio, even this TV station wouldn't exist. If people didn't care about what we needed in the city, this television station wouldn't exist. WTBR wouldn't exist. If people didn't care to donate, give money and donate their time and donate their expertise, we wouldn't be where we are today. So people may think this is a small town in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, on the northeast side of the state of Massachusetts, but we can do a lot, and we should be pretty proud of the way this city's grown. Yes, we've got a lot of growing to do, but hopefully we'll have enough time to do it and grow as people while we're doing it. Yes, we're gonna have problems, but so is everybody else. No, nobody's perfect, and nobody said nobody said it's gonna be easy. Nobody said it's gonna be easy. Nobody would ever argue. I would never argue it's gonna be easy, because I know it's hard for me to even get out of bed every morning. So with that, folks, anybody want to give me any information or any topics that I can talk about during the week and meet with people for the show, or just give me some ideas for subjects to talk about, they can get all to me at wheelingthepathwaytolife@gmail.com. That's wheelingthepathwaytolife@gmail.com. You do not have to you do not even have to come on the show if you don't want to. But if you give me an email and you tell me a story and you give me permission to share it on the show, I will. And anything you need to get out there for the disabled or the public in general, because remember, folks, we are also the public in general. Just because we have a physical disability doesn't mean nothing. Some of the smartest people I know can't physically do anything, but they can think for themselves, they can make decisions. As whether anybody will listen, that's a different story, but we are members of society and we should be treated as such. And as long as I'm here doing this show, I will continue to advocate for that and push for situations to change, to make life easier for everybody in general, not just the disabled. All right. Next week, in the next couple weeks, you may see some changes and some of the stuff we do, and I encourage you to pay attention to that. And I'm going to talk to the mayor and make on the 5th of June, June 5th, and a town hall meeting. I will have more on that in the future, so be thinking and be watching for more information on that. With that, folks, I will see you next week. Have a great week. Have a safe week, and enjoy this weather out there. And we will see you all next week. Thank you.
Said you can bury the workman, but the work will